What is going on, everybody? Welcome to Recover Out Loud, episode number 83. God damn, we're on 83 now. I'm so excited about that. But today we got an awesome guest. We got David Gillam, all the way from Wrexham, England. How you doing?
I'm
How you
all
doing,
right,
Dave?
my brother. I'm all right. I'm all right. May I start beginning by saying I love your entrance music.
Oh yeah,
It's ace, dude. I think it's
dude.
ace.
I was scrolling through like different songs on this
Yeah.
website, and like I clicked on that song, and I was like, that is it.
You know
That
when you
is
know.
it. Yeah, dude. That was like I was like, that is fucking it. And I sent it to my buddy, and he was like, that is fucking it. And I was like, hey man, can you make me a video? And he's like, yeah, sure. So I sent him a bunch of pictures, and he was just like, I got it. Because I'm Norse pagan, I believe in the Norse gods, and so he was like, I want to give it that Norse feel. And I was like, yes, yes, that is it. That is it. But anyways, David, would you like to give a formal introduction of yourself?
But introduction. No, man. I mean, not anyone that's ever seen me on anything knows that I don't do real introduction. My mouth does most of the time. You know what I mean? There's
Yeah.
no, but I like this is a different type of show, and it ain't for you know my sharp tongue to kind of abuse the industries and and life, if you will. I'm known for getting in trouble for things like that. Podcasted for several years. I've interviewed major wrestling talents. I've interviewed musicians, comedians. Um, that was a long time ago, but things get in the way, and I think that's why I'm here, Sean.
Yeah. Yeah. Sometimes life gets in the way.
Yeah, slows a lot of shit down.
Yeah.
Kills your
I get
hunger, your appetite suppressed, and that's mental health,
yeah.
that's it to a T.
Yeah. Absolutely. Absolutely. So before we get into it, David and I wanted to talk about something that happened yesterday. And right now it is August 25th. When this airs, it's going to be a little bit later on. Anyways, it's August 25th, August 24th. In the evening time in America, there's a mass text, well, not a mass text, but a tweet put out by Triple H of WWE that said that Bray Wyatt, Wyndham Rotunda, passed away, and asked for respect for the family and that he'd be missed. And I thought it was a sick joke, and I'm just I'll start out real quick. I thought it was a sick joke. I thought it was like an angle, right? And I was like, they're trying to do something here because Bray's supposed to return, right? And like the return was imminent. Everybody, was speculating on when he was going to come back. But the more that you look into it, and the more that you see that people are commenting, it's not an angle, right? And like in that moment when I accepted it, like that was fucking devastating for me. What was it like for you, David?
Similar, very, 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 very similar to yours. Um, like when you're saying you were sat there in the evening. I was sat there my time, early hours in the morning. I think it was about 2 a.m. my time that I'd had this message, and it said, Bray Wyatt is dead, and he just had sad emoji, and I was just you you argue with what you're feeling at the time, because you're kind of like, there's that numb feeling, and you're like, no,
Yeah,
and there's no kind of tears straight away. There's no aggression. There's nothing. And then I went on. I just Google, and I just, what, of all things, I just typed Bray Wyatt, and that was it.
yeah,
And it came up, and there was Sports Key there was all these different social media sites, and then I just seen WWE, and I was just kind of, and then I just went boom.
Yeah.
You know, my whole mood just dropped then, and I was just kind of like Triple H just sent out, and I was just kind of like, and I read it, and I couldn't finish reading it
Yeah.
because it just, obviously Mike Rotunda had contacted Triple H, and I was just kind of like, and then even now I'm getting that, that fucking feeling where you just shivers going up your body,
Yeah.
and that in itself is like a form of your body saying it hurts.
Yeah.
It hurts. And I read it over and over and over again. And then from there, I went to, I know I shouldn't say it to people, but straight away I went on toy stores, like I've just been saying to you before we went
Yeah.
live. And I wanted his merchandise
Yeah.
for a sentimental point of view,
Yeah.
not what some people will do, and they will seek to gain money off figures which will no longer be made and all them sort of things. Bray was he was more than just you know for me and for you and for many other people, it's an escape.
Yeah.
And there's only certain, characters in the industry where you can kind of emotionally connect and you get it, you get that story that's being told, which isn't a story and it isn't a gimmick, you know. And he was one of them guys that just I loved him from a creative stance, the way he looked, the way he moved. But as soon as he picked up on Mike, it was just, do you know what I mean? He
Yeah.
dragged you, let me in.
Yeah.
It's not a gimmick,
No.
you know. But I mean, I just sat there, dude, and you know, it took a while. It still hasn't. It just. I think you have to go through them emotions of accepting before you can actually, And for me, I'm kind of like, I read a lot of people saying they feel cheated, and it's not about being cheated. It's, there's a lot more to, the business than just stepping in the ring.
Yeah.
The man, there was a genuine story of sadness and heartache in that man's life.
Yeah.
I'm glad that we got that moment where he stepped back in the ring, but soon he very quickly stepped away again.
Yeah.
But that kind of cements that he tried it and he realized, I'm not. This is either not right for me, or I can't emotionally
Yeah.
connect with this anymore.
Yeah. You
And the industry just doesn't let it go, does it? It doesn't let it go.
no. You know, you talked about that physical feeling of pain, dude, and like I stayed up super late last night. I just couldn't go to sleep. My brain was going 1,000 miles an hour, and I finally got to that point where I was like, I need to go to bed now because if I don't, I'm never going to.
Hmm.
And I had things to do today on top of recording. And I sat down on my bed and I laid down, dude. Like that heartbreak feeling, like not like that fake shit that people say, like I'm so heartbroken, like the physical fucking pain of your heart being ripped, dude. I felt that, and in my lifetime, that is the second time that I felt that. The
I've done
last
it. Yeah.
the last time that I felt that was when my last ex-wife left, and it just ripped me to shreds, right? This is one of those times that absolutely fucked me up. And I made some stuff on Facebook and TikTok about what Bray meant to me. Um, but like one of the things that really for me that cemented Bray as one of my favorites was you said it you got the presentation of the character Bray Wyatt. You got the presentation of the Fiend, Husky Harris, whatever.
Mhm.
But there was more to meet the eye, more than meets the eye when it comes to Bray.
Mhm.
And you had to read between the lines. You had to look between what he was saying to really pick out a lot of things, right? And when on his last return, you said it before we hit record. When he returned this last time, we didn't get Bray Wyatt. We got Wyndham Rotunda. We got the man behind the character. Even though he came out as Bray Wyatt, you got Wyndham Rotunda. You got that 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 heartbreak that he felt when Brody passed. You got the mental health issues that he faced. You got the feeling of not being good enough, the feeling of not being successful. And then ultimately on the back end, the feeling of gratitude for the people that did have his back, and the fans that loved him and came up to him and said, "We miss you," right?
Yeah.
Because he was gonna stay gone, right?
Mhm.
But he realized that he was loved so much and adored so
Mhm.
much by the fans that it kind of brought him back. I mean, WWE had to make the contact first, but it brought
Yeah.
him back. He could have been like, "Nah, fuck you. You let me go, and when I needed you, fuck you." But he didn't. And that version of Bray Wyatt, Wyndham Rotunda, is something that like really means something to me.
Mhm.
And so on, to close it up, what Bray did for me through the TV was show me like it's okay to be fucking weird and be macabre, and like I don't have to be afraid of what other people perceive me as, right? And I don't have to
Mhm.
be afraid that other people aren't going to understand me, because not everybody's going to understand who I am as a human
Mhm.
being, or who I am as this person behind the screen that you're listening to or that you're viewing. That Bray taught me that I can be okay where I'm at, and be okay not to be okay. And so that's what Bray meant to me, man. If you want to share what he meant to you.
I think I look at it. I look at it as though I'm sitting here with you now, and we're going to discuss my ups and downs and things like that. I've had a long 6 years, and I've reflected with so many things, and so many things have, you know, taken the time, or not taken up my time, but I've used certain things to be able to get through stuff like that, or the stuff that I've had to get through. Um, Brave was a big part of that. Brave was a big part of that, and like we just said, it's okay not to be okay. And he said that so many times you know, in ways that he did his promos, the way he spoke, and especially more when he returned, as Wyndham Rotunda. And, you know, listening to him in the ring, and I was just, you listen to him and you can hear that emotion in his voice. You can hear the tears in his voice without the tears coming down his face, you know? And so much of that kind of, it it put a lot into perspective for me, you know? And, as corny as that may sound to people, it really did. I resonated with a lot that he said. And, you know, for a person to go through, or we don't know what he went through, but we know, the kind of just there or thereabouts, we know that he was suffering with mental health. We know the Brody scenario crushed him,
Yeah.
and it didn't just crush him. Again, it crushed the industry. Um, you know, and after that, not long after that, Bray went away. Bray went away, and it took a long time for us to see him again. But when we seen him again, it wasn't the man that we'd kind of seen. We'd never seen this, you know, open book man that was talking to us from his heart. We'd seen the man that, yes, he was talking very much from perspective of who he was, but he had even had a mask on, he had a hat on, he had that Hawaiian shirt on, he was surrounded by characters that I believe to be sentimental parts of his youth and things like that. That this was a man that, for me, I have five guys, and he came up that ladder from 10 fingers to five, and that's how I say that. Number one will always be Eddie Guerrero for me.
Yeah.
Jake Roberts is on there. Scott Hall was on there. Um, Bray Wyatt, he came up through the ranks and he solidified himself because there is a connection,
Yeah.
whether it's psychology, whether it's addiction, whether it's anything really that you can resonate with as a human being. Wrestling isn't always about gimmicks. It's not always about wins and losses. They're people, we're people. We either connect or we don't. If the character is very much like a written character, it's a written character. It's not really real, but the person behind it is real.
Yeah.
Bray Wyatt wasn't a gimmick,
No.
And last night that's kind of that was the hard part of it, was realizing that you know why do I feel like this?
Yeah.
I've never met the guy. I've never shook hands with the guy. I've been within 20 feet of the guy. In an arena. I've had goosebumps at that entrance. You know,
Yeah.
I've seen all. If for me, if you get goosebumps when a person picks up a mic or walks past you, that's for a reason.
Oh yeah.
You're in there. You know, and it's because I haven't been a religious person for the last 6 years. Tested, tested. You know, and I just think when you get that feeling of that tingling feeling, it's for a reason.
Yeah.
It's for a reason. That shiver is for a reason. That's your body telling you be happy, be sad. Them are the things, Sean. But Brave for me, nah, he's it's sad.
Yeah.
It's sad. But I mean, for me, I'm not gonna say wasted talent because what he's done, in his short, time, he's done a lot for people.
Yeah.
No, he's done a lot for the industry. Um, and it's very, very sad. It is. It's sad. It's kind of like you want to see him again, and then there's the reality.
Yeah.
But
You know what? You know what's crazy, man, is like last night, maybe an hour after I found everything out, and I was just sitting on my bed. I got a text alert, and I looked at the text. It was my ex-wife, and she was like, "I'm sorry about Bray."
wow,
Right, because you know that's what he meant to me, dude. Like when he returned at Extreme Rules, I think it was Extreme Rules
yeah,
or Survivor Series, one of the two. Um, and the lights went out after Riddle was on stage or at the ramp. Like I sat there and I was just screaming, "Give me what I want!" Right, like kind of as a joke, like "Give me what I want!" Like Batista, right?
uh,
And I have videos on TikTok of me doing that, right? I was like, "Just give me what I want!" Right, and then he fucking returned, and I think there's only like two times as an adult or even as a human being alive that I've ever cried at somebody's return. Him and Punk. We're gonna slide Punk away. We're gonna act like that shit didn't happen. But Bray Wyatt, man, that rock like that gave me so much hope, dude. Like, yeah, just I'm fucking crushed, and but life keeps moving on, right?
yeah,
Yeah, I can't. We can't stop because something happens and somebody passes away. But we're gonna move on. We move past Bray Wyatt, not forget him, but we're gonna move on to your story, David. What was it like in some of your hard times, man?
Wow. Um, yeah. Uh, it's a weird thing because my life, I've grown up, in a really, really tough, you know, man's world, um, from family expectations to world expectations, what you think the world wants you to do, and what you should do, what is right, what is wrong. My life's always been quite tough, if I'm honest. Um, but the last 6 years, I I got two young children that have had to, we've had the pandemic. So I've gone from being this person where I wanted to be left alone, shut the world out, shut everything in it, everything that I loved, shut out, you know. And then all of a sudden, boom, we're putting you all together in the pandemic.
Yeah,
And I didn't know what to do, I mean, I'm so protective of my kids. My kids are my life, you know. They're the only thing I live for, and that is it in a nutshell. Um, and all I wanted to do, Sean, was curl up and die because, as much as I want to be around them, I didn't want to be around them because in my head, everything that has happened to me is so real. It's it scares me, it scares me. And to subject people that I love to that kind of toxicity, with you know, I want to be a dad, and then I don't want to subject my kids. I need to protect them. But by the thoughts I was having, I was protecting them, but then I was kind of hurting them,
yeah,
because I was taking me away from them. And you can't sit down with two, minors and just say, "Listen, this is what happened." I can't. Yeah, I can't subject my kids to, hearing, some of the things, some of the trauma that I've been through, because that's not fair on their ears.
no,
No, but I mean, I've had, I've had, uh, not had. I've tried multiple things. You know what I mean?
yeah,
Suicide. I've made nooses. To that extent, dude. I've ordered and I bought rope. I've had it delivered to the house. You know, pills. I've gone to the extent of just having so many things planned to do things, and you know, and I have, I mean, I've self downed, you know, um, it's you know what I mean. It's
yeah,
tough because it's tough, kind of like I wanted to do this because the last 5 days or 5 days the other day, I checked myself in to a rehab because I didn't feel great. I knew that there's a difference between not feeling great then and not feeling great.
yeah,
I felt I was kind of like in danger of it getting too much,
yeah,
and I've made big steps over the last 12 months, and these last 12 months have tested me something ridiculous, which we'll talk about. Um, but you know, I don't fall back on certain things like drugs or alcohol anymore, which used to kind of like take that pressure off.
yeah,
Um, but I just knew. I knew on that I was supposed to do the show with you, and it was the day after that. I don't know what it was. It was just like a big weight on my chest, and I was just kind of, I don't really like this the way this feels. I'm
Yeah.
taking medication, but something's not right. And then I was just finding myself crying for no reason and clenching my fist, and I was just kind of like, the last time I felt like this, I did this. You know, I went downstairs to get the tea, and I'm opening the kitchen drawer, and I've got my hand going through the knives. You know what I mean?
Yeah.
I need this knife. I need a fork. I need a knife. I need a spoon. But I was going for the sharp knives,
Yeah.
and I was just kind of like, I don't need to feel like this. So I just went straight to the phone, and I picked the phone up. I said, "Can I speak to you know, doctor?" And he spoke to the doctor. I said, "I got to come in." He said, "Why? What's going on?" I said, I don't know. I'm
Yeah.
taking my medication. I'm doing it at the right times. Yeah, I'm not sleeping properly, which I never sleep. I suffer from insomnia and things like that. And he said to me, he said, "I'm here till 8." He said, "Can you come down and just speak to me? We'll talk, we'll sit, we'll talk, and we'll decide what we need to do." So I went down, I spoke to him, and he said to me, right, he said, "You're in complete control of this."
Yeah.
He said, "But if you need to come in," he said, we're going to check you in, and it's on your terms, your conditions. You stay for as long as you need to. Um, and that's what I did. You
Yeah.
know, I can't put my family, I can't put my kids through, that type of environment. I've sat and I've begged my missus, my wife at times, just you ask for that. I love them, but that woman, honestly, my like I said, my life's been toxic for many, many, many years, and I've had many people come in and many people go. You know, trust is a big thing for me, because I'm a very toxic person, and I can be. But I think that is mainly down to putting up a wall if you try and hit it with a hammer. Yeah. And she's been my rock. And I honestly think if I hadn't have had her, I know this is one of them things. If I hadn't have had her, I wouldn't be sat here having this conversation. And them are just them are facts.
Yeah.
Um, she's not the sole reason, but she's definitely, the one of the main reasons. When I look at her and I look at the way she cares for my kids, when I couldn't, no, But I mean, it's it has, man. The last few years, I've never felt, and I don't want to feel them sort of. As human beings, we don't deserve to feel,
Yeah.
you know,
Yeah.
the way we're born with these things, where we feel emotions. We
Yeah.
should feel them type of emotions where you want to take yourself and throw yourself off a cliff. You know
Yeah.
that
Yeah.
shouldn't be. You know, and it's weird because I say religious. I'm born Catholic. I'm born Catholic. I class myself as a atheist. You
Yeah.
know, but and then I look at things and I go, I'm still here.
Yeah.
I got to look at it from that point of view, and I go, why am I still here? Who kept me here? Why? But I don't believe in this. Well, you clearly do believe in something because there's obviously a faith inside of you. You know,
Yeah. Yeah.
and me and you were very, very similar in terms of Norse.
Yeah.
I'd never seen, right, in these last 6 years, I'd never ever seen Vikings. Okay, the Last Kingdom, um, Barbarian, all these different things, but Ragnar Lothbrok connected me with something, and the Norse mythology and the Norse gods, and they're pagan. Pagan people are scared of paganism.
Yeah,
It's a lot. It's a lot. Fucking, there's a lot more to fucking being a pagan than fucking blood and vampires and shit. Like, you know what I
yeah,
mean? All that dark stuff. And I connected with that, and I held on to it, and I read books. I watched the series over and over and over again. My missus bought me a dog. His name is Ragnar. I've got a I've got an African grey called Ivor. Yeah. We're getting a cat. She's going to be called Toby. No. Um, I honestly, when I speak about Vikings, it honestly makes me happy.
yeah,
Smile. No, you don't want to go Scandinavia for that reason.
yeah,
I need to see things. I've been over the UK, I've been to Lindisfarne, I've been also all these areas. Now I need to go to Scandinavia. I need to go to Greenland. I know there's nothing really there. I know it's got a high murder rate and crime rate, but I got to see things.
yeah,
I got to see what made me happy.
yeah,
Standing on them shores, seeing a longboat. I got to see it.
yeah. I can relate. I kind of my whole life I didn't feel like I fit in anywhere, any religion. So I studied a lot. I studied Satanism, Catholicism, all those other things, and I was just like, yeah, I don't fit in there. And then Norse pagan came in, and I watched Vikings because everybody was like, "Oh, watch Vikings; it's a good show." And I this is before I even got into it, and the depiction of Ragnar Lothbrok and of Ivar and just everything, the gods. I think for me, what it was that first scene, the battle scene where Ragnar was on the battlefield. Everything, they had won the battle. He's looking over and he sees the depiction of Odin standing there in the field. And for me, like, that sent chills down my spine.
I just got chills there when you said that.
Yeah, it sent
When you said
chills.
that.
It sent chills down my spine. I got very interested in Vikings, and this was just so happens to be like right before I moved up to Alaska, and I took my trip to Alaska, and I get in the border of Canada and Alaska, and something in me was like, if this is fucking real, right? Like, give me a sign. And I got to the border, pulled in the border, and right inside the border, there were ravens everywhere.
Wow.
And this is in the winter time. Winter rave
Wow.
birds
Wow.
birds don't survive in the wintertime. And I just sat there and was captivated by it. And over time, like, I studied a little bit, and because we are human, we kind of get comfortable in that state of mind. And I once again was like, if this is real, like, I need a sign. I was driving. I was going to a chiropractor, and life was starting to get a little bit harder. And this is when I got into recovery, and I was just like, I need something, right? And the Hobble Mall says if you ask for it, it's coming, right? And so I was sitting there, and I was at the crosswalk of this, light was red, and I'm sitting there, and I just said, if this is real, like, I need a sign. And I was just minding my own business. I look over, and there's a fucking raven sitting on the sidewalk. People are passing it by. It is not moving, and then it turns and stares at me, and like just locks eyes with me. And I was just captivated by it because that's a sign. And for me, like, I'm never gonna ask again. Like, I don't need proof. But the talking about Norse paganism, talking about Vikings, and that's why I got the berserker rune on my hand, right? That's I have an axe downstairs, and I carve the berserker rune in the axe. And For me, it runs deeper than just I watched a TV show and a movie, and I know it runs deeper for you and for a lot of other people. But
Mhm,
for me, it runs deeper than I was captivated by a TV series. This is a life for me, right? Like,
mhm,
not pirates. Life is life for me,
mhm.
but Norse paganism. This is where I fit in, and it's not all about pillaging and murder
No.
and fucking people up and spilling blood. It's about being a human being,
Mhm. Yeah,
being fallible, taking care of the people around you,
that's
even
it.
if even if that means you got to check yourself in.
Life or death.
That's
Life or death.
yeah, yeah,
That's the way a father as a Viking grew up. Wasn't about going out. I'm going to slay you with my axe. You know, you do these things for your family. Your family come first. You know,
yeah,
and and you know, I get watching all that. I mean, I got sleeve of Vikings. You know, I got two blue eyes on my
yeah,
arm. You know, um, a Valkyrie on my arm. And one of the things that have always stuck with me are the Valkyries taking you. And when I let's see, I guess this is getting emotional here, but when I tried to commit suicide and I found myself in hospital, I said to my missus Leo, because they thought I was going to die. My missus come over me, she kissed me on the cheek. She goes, "The angels will take you." I said, "Nah, Valkyries are coming for me if anyone's coming."
yeah,
And she started crying, and she said to me, she said, "Don't go." I said, "I ain't going nowhere." I said, "I ain't going nowhere."
yeah,
And from that day, I always said to myself, if this is as fucking close as it gets, I'm scared. You know,
yeah,
and this is a man that like I said, toxic lifestyle. I've never been scared of anything. The family I grew up in, I didn't need to be scared of anything on the outside. You know, and the only thing I'm scared of is probably death itself.
yeah,
Because I've got two kids.
yeah,
And that's it. If it was just me, I know I'm going somewhere. I know I'm going somewhere when I'm going to help someone else.
yeah,
And that's what Vikings did for me. It was just kind of like you said, that battle. It's just kind of like Ivor was born with a defect to his legs, but nothing scared that. Do you know what I mean?
yeah,
He had a chariot, he had horses, he had them braces welded to his legs. It didn't stop him.
yeah,
That moment at the end when he's just banging his chest. I'm either the boneless, and then you just see that moment between two brothers. They loved each other anyway, but there was always that power struggle
yeah,
because I out of all the brothers, Ivor was the one that wanted to be his father, but knew he could never step into them shoes
yeah,
because of his defects. But there's that moment there with brother, and he admits through all them seasons of Vikings, he admits I'm scared,
yeah,
you know,
yeah,
and that for me, similar to yours when you were on about the Ravens, there, something about the Ravens. When I went down to Linda's farm, and it's got the old monastery. There's not a lot there to see now. I've got some pictures that I'll have to put up, send to you so you can have a look. It's got this Linda's Farm church, and I shit you not. As we were walking, we'd done this camping there as well. And the night before, and we were walking, we set off about 7 a.m. in the morning, and we got there for about 9:30. And as we were walking out of this kind of like for this forest gate, all we fucking heard was the crowing. right? That's all we heard, right? And it was kind of scary because I was kind of like, shit,
Yeah.
it's weird,
Yeah.
you know. And you're looking at these kind of like, you know, these buildings and that, and you're kind of like, I come from these shores, you know, they invaded my fucking shore, but
Right.
I'm like, I'm with the Vikings, you know what I mean?
Yeah.
And that's it, you know. And this is the weird thing when people, you know, I look at their battle. They wanted to prove that there was no God. Their God was the only God of existence, you know, and they made the believer out of me.
Yeah.
You know, they made a believer out of me, and to the extent that I was buying books and I was reading that much stuff up online.
Yeah.
I was brought up, Sean. I was born, baptized, brought up in a Catholic church. I've never picked the Bible up in my life.
Yeah.
I went to a Catholic school. RE, religious education, was something we had to do because of the Catholic Church. I never believed a word of it.
Yeah.
Then comes this show, and I'm told to watch it. That and the Last Kingdom. Last Kingdom, I'd say, is more of a concept where they focus more on the Saxon side of things rather than you know, the Norse side of things. But I'm sat there watching this, and I'm kind of like, I get this, I get it, and then I'm like, I'm ordering books. I'm reading books now. I'm not an ignorant person, and I do read. I read biographies, things like that. But I'm sat there reading these books, and I'm ordering several. I ordered myself a Kindle because I couldn't get these books on hardback copies or you know paperback. And my missus is going to me and she's saying, "Are you okay?" And I'm like, "Yeah, yeah, I am." And that was it, Sean. Are you okay? Yeah, I am. This is stuff that I struggled to get out the house, right, for 3 years. To walk outside to take the dog for a walk in the garden, never mind walking around a field or anything like that, the garden. I would stand on the doorstep of my house and not step foot over it. The only time I ever went out was whether I needed to go and see my therapist. And even then, I would find excuses not to leave my house,
Yeah.
you know? And then I'm kind of like letting this thing just enter me. And I'm reading books and I'm doing all these things. And then I said to her, I said, I need a tattoo. And she said to me, she said, Dave, you don't leave the house. How are you going to get a tattoo?
Bring them to me.
That's exactly what I said. That's exactly what I said. She said to me, she said, who the fuck do you think you are? Do you think you're Ragnar Lothbrok or something? If I'm going to get this fucking tattoo, I said, there's got to be, there has to be a good way. I'll pay double the money.
Yeah.
So I sent a message right to this tattooist. And I said, listen, I said, I've been like, and I weren't going to let anyone, just anyone, let loose on my arm,
Yeah.
right? So I sent a message to this guy, and I said, listen, I want a tattoo done. I'm going to send you some pictures. I said, I want you to put your spin on it. Yeah, I don't want to tell you I want this, I want that. I want something done by someone that actually gives a shit about what I'm entertaining having on my body. He said, right, okay, send me some pictures, brother. So we got talking and that, and he said, when you're thinking of having it done? I went, right, this is where it gets complicated. Okay. I said, I suffer from this, you know, this. And he said to me, "Listen, bro, I can't come to you for insurance purposes,
Yeah.
but I can do your tattoo when the shop is shut." Yeah, he said, "You get to me, the shop will be closed. If it takes 10 fucking hours, it takes 10 hours. If it, you know what?" He said, he said, I'll help you." So I
That's
went down there and we sat there, we talked. Fuck, he put Vikings on the TV. You
that's
know,
awesome.
we sat there 12 hours tattoo, man. I had done. He literally, instead of doing like outline and filling, we did the whole thing all in one go.
That's awesome.
We did the whole thing one go, and we sat there, bro, and we watched like 10 episodes of Vikings. You know, uh, and that was it. And like he was saying, he said, "Dude, he said, how the fucking hell do you go from like you know being not interested in Vikings to kind of like just boom, this is going to be me. This is going to be me." Things like I'm watching reenactments and things like that, and I'm just like, I'm so fucking hooked,
Yep.
and I love the lifestyle, and I love what they stand for, you
Yep.
know. And if that is I do that. That's the only faith I ever need now.
Yep. Yep. I
It
agree.
is.
I agree. So transitioning into um, what did you do? What was the moment that you realized that you needed help, and how did you help yourself?
I came downstairs. Um, I'd had a sleepless night the night before,
Mhm.
and I came downstairs. My kids were. My missus had got up to make breakfast for the kids to go to school, and the kids hadn't come down yet. They were having a wash, and I came down the stairs, and I was just uneasy, and I leant over the worktop of the kitchen, and I just said, "Help." My missus' name's Helen.
Mhm.
I said, "Help," and she said, "Hang on." And then she turned around, and I just leant over and I said, "Is it pot?" Now, I kind of, when I say this, this is from a uneasy kind of, I didn't know what the fuck was going on. I didn't know the feeling. I didn't know everything that I was feeling right then. It scared me
Mhm.
because I'd never felt anything, and I'd seen, and I still to this day can't understand it, and I don't understand it. And I know therapists and things that people have spoken to me about this. I woke up and I said to it, I leant over and I said, "Is it possible?" I said, "You can block something out so
Mhm.
traumatic, and then you wake up and your mind is like a fucking video player." I said, "I'm seeing shit that I don't know,
Yeah.
but I said I can't deny it. What I'm seeing is a dream or fucking what, you know?" And like I've said to you, this abuse that I had
Yeah.
also had, it was also my sister as well.
Yeah.
You know? And my sister came out when she was 21. Lisa's now 35. Um, Obviously, I've never fell to my knees in my life.
Yeah.
Never fell to my knees, and I couldn't explain. I can't explain now. Everything that I just felt fucking broken. I felt broken. I felt like, wow, if there'd have been a cliff there, then I'd have chopped myself off it
Yeah.
because. You know, I've grown up, like I said, in that family environment, fighting. You know, um, I come from like you've served. My main bulk of my family have all served in the forces. You know, unfortunately, I was too naughty of a boy and a man to even you weren't going to give me a gun. You weren't going to give me a gun. You
Yeah.
know, I'd have probably been the perfect soldier on the front line. You know, and nothing really, nothing scared me. Nothing scared me. You know, I was brought up from that environment. You know, I'm half Italian on the Sicilian side. You know, forget about it. You know,
Yeah, forget about it.
you know, that was my granddad. You know, it's just granddad, I don't want to go in the water. Forget about it. Get in. You know. Um, but that just she come round and she did best. She got on her knees and she just put her arms around me and she said, "What do you want to do?" I said, "I don't know." I said, "I don't know what the fuck's going on." She said, "I said, where are the kids?" And she rang her sister, and her sister only lives around the corner from us, about 5 minutes around the corner. And the sister came and she took the kids. She took the kids. And this, you know, for about it was about a couple of weeks, and I just said to her, I said, I gotta go see someone. You know, I fought it and I fought it and I fought it, Sean. Um, at this time, obviously, I was an alcoholic as well. You know, I was an alcoholic as well. I was heavily addicted to. My addiction to drugs was only small at the time, but it went quite big. Um, but I was drinking a bottle of vodka a day, with around 24 cans of lager. Just that ballooned. That went bigger as well. I was drinking a litre and a half of vodka, and then I was getting to the point where I was making myself sick, so I could drink more and more and more. And I wouldn't. It wasn't even a social habit, Sean. It wasn't
Yeah.
a social habit. I would go outside in the freezing cold and I would sit under a carport with 40 cigarettes. And this is how compulsive that my addiction was. Is I would have two bottles of vodka, say for instance, and I would have the cans, and they would have to be finished before I step foot back in that house. The only time I went in that house was to go use the bathroom, and then I go straight back out. Rain, sleet, snow, didn't matter. That I needed to be out there, and I never understood why. For years before this event, you know. But the 2 weeks went, and I turned to her. I said, "Right, come on." I said, "I'm ready." I said, "I gotta go. I gotta go see a doctor."
Yeah.
So I went to see the doctor. You know, doctor's appointments normally 10 minutes. I was sat in with that doctor, dude, for 2 hours. Normal GP, in and out, give you a prescription, blah blah blah. I was sat there for 2 hours. She'd actually had to cancel her patient's appointments and send them to another GP in that surgery because she wouldn't let me leave.
Yeah.
She wouldn't let me leave. Um, then another doctor arrives from the actual hospital and he sits down with me. 3 hours, 3 hours gone. I'm still in there. Um, and they're asking me what do I need? I said I gotta need something because I said I tell you what. I said I'm lucky to be here 2 weeks on.
Yeah.
I said I'm drinking ridiculous amounts of alcohol. I said I'm taking tablets. to keep me awake so I can drink more and more and more. I said, dude, I said, I don't want to explain this. I said, but I said, I'm shitting blood.
Yeah.
Yeah, I'm fucking, I said, from an emotional stance, I said, I'm dying inside. From a physical stance, I'm dying.
Yeah.
I said, mentally, I said, I'm exhausted. I've had enough of feeling the way I am. I said, my kids need their dad. So I said, don't send me fucking away from here telling me that we're going to put you on a list to get help.
Yeah.
Because I said, I'll tell you, well, by the time you get round to me, I'm dead. That
Yeah.
doctor said to me then, and then he said, right, he said, I'm gonna go make a phone call. He said, I want you at the hospital. There'll be someone to meet you by these doors that are only patients' doors, and we'll check you in. I went in on the um, Friday evening, and I was in there for 8 weeks.
Wow.
8 weeks, and in them 8 weeks, um, you know, fuck, I don't know how the fuck I didn't walk out of there. I don't know how the fuck I didn't walk out of there, dude, because I wasn't ready to give up alcohol. You know, I wasn't ready to, and they weren't gonna make me quit alcohol. They said that to me, to take you off the alcohol now is dangerous.
Yeah.
Is dangerous. We're gonna work with you. We're gonna get you on some medication. We're gonna speak to you. We're gonna teach you how to you know help yourself to a certain extent. The
Yeah.
rest, we're gonna be here with you. You know. So I went away, and they give me all these tools, and you know what? I had a support worker. At that moment, that they don't get no more real than that, dude.
Yeah.
It doesn't. It just doesn't. I've never ever had anything like that. Happen to me. Never.
Yeah. I think the fact that you articulated it to the doctor and say, "Hey, look, man, like either you see me now or I'm not gonna survive this shit." I think that's huge, right? Because a lot of people can't capitalize on that thought, can't capitalize on the fact that like I'm not just dying mentally and emotionally, I'm dying physically too, because that's what the fuck this is doing to me.
Mhm,
And people don't realize I mean, we hear all the time people overdosing on
mhm,
whatever drugs, heroin, meth, whatever.
mhm,
But we're not talking about people drinking themselves to death. We don't hear about people whose livers fail them,
mhm,
whose kidneys fail them because they've drank so much, right? And we don't hear about that desperation, right? That I
mhm.
mean, I obviously hear about it because I do this,
Yeah, yeah,
but the society doesn't hear about the desperation of somebody saying like either you take this away from me or I'm fucking done,
mhm.
right? And I right off the bat, dude, I just want to say like that was huge and that inspired me, that moved me. I got chills when you were saying that because I know that, and it's called the gift of desperation, man. And I'm glad that you were able to articulate that and share that.
Numbness is the hardest thing. Numbness is the hardest thing because with numbness is it's kind of like you still don't know. You feel something that's something wrong, but you don't. There's that failure to admit.
Yeah.
You don't admit it. And this I was drinking from 14 years of age, dude. I'm 43 now.
Yeah.
There was a moment when my mum took me into a doctor's when I was 20, and that doctor sat me down after sending me for a liver function test.
Hmm.
And he sat me down and he said, David, he said, I see a lot of people, but none as often as none at your age
Yeah.
with this problem. And he told me I was in early stages of jaundice at 20. You know, and he told me I wouldn't see 20. He told me straight. He said, I'm really worried. He said, if you keep drinking like this, he said, I'm not going to talk to you about living till 30. He said,
Yeah.
you might see your next birthday.
Yeah.
You know, and I carried on drinking, dude. Like I said, I was drinking lots of stuff, and even after I went to check myself in, I carried on drinking, and the drinking got worse because I'd opened this box. You know, my night terrors were real. Um, I moved out my mine and the missus's bed
Yeah.
because I was lashing out. Not deliberately, I was doing it in my sleep. I moved to another room in the house where I was locking my door, dude, to stop people from coming in.
Yeah.
You know, I'd knock at the door, leave my food there. I was living a prison lifestyle because I chose, because that was me safe.
Yeah.
You know? She would sometimes wake up early hours of the morning, me screaming.
Yeah.
I would tell her, listen, I'm gonna leave the door open when I'm going for a shower. Yeah, check on me. That was the shit
Yeah.
I was fucking feeling, dude. I was just kind of like, honestly, the way I talk to you, brother, because I listen to your shows, and I listen to the way that you talk to your guests and things. And you know what? I thank you for sitting with me and talking through this, because I mean, you know what? I've seen multiple nurses in the mental health system, and they're the ones, not my therapist. Believe me, the nurses were the ones that, when they passed me over, because you have to go through different categories. You go from this category to this category to this category before you're actually classed as an issue, you
Yeah.
know.
Yeah.
And I was rushed through, but I mean, I had one nurse, Amanda, and they told me they were taking her off me. And fuck, dude, honestly, they had to call security
Yeah.
because I was flipping tables and everything. I was like, how the fuck can you allow me to open up and then tell me you're taking a person off me that sat with me for nearly 12 months?
Yeah.
Oh
That's
yeah,
one of the that's
no,
one of the problems that I have with the medical system in America is you have doctors that you open up to, you have counselors, psychologists, therapists that you open up to, and you just rip your heart out, right?
yeah, yeah,
And then they're like, "Well, sorry, our sessions are over now. You're gonna have to move on." And it's like, "Well,
exactly, exactly.
I just built this fucking trust into you,
Mhm,
and felt comfortable enough to share my
mhm,
story with you, and now nothing."
mhm.
And
I
that's a
said from
shitty,
day one,
shitty feeling.
from day one, they always said to me, when they said to me, "Is there anything that you don't want?" I said, "Don't give me a male fucking doctor.
Yeah,
Or don't give me a male doctor," because obviously my abuse as a child was sexual,
yeah,
and that was at the hands of my dad's brother. You know, so I mean, once obviously my head had opened and that box had been opened, you put a male anywhere near me, even my missus's father-in-law, I'd tell, don't bring him in the house. Don't bring him in the house. You know, I was fucking dangerous, honestly.
yeah,
I remember walking home one night from the pub, and there was just random guy sat on the side of the road eating his fucking bag of chips. And dude, I went to work on him.
mm,
Absolutely no fucking reason. I'm disgusted with myself for doing it, but I didn't understand it. I didn't know
yeah,
why, you know.
yeah,
And this went on till about, trying to think. I will be 2 years sober in November the 22nd. And you know what? That day when I said to her, "I'm done. I'm fucking done." She said to me, "What do you mean? You're done? Done with what?" I said, "Alcohol, fucking everything." She said, "Dave, the doctor said you can't do that." I said, "Give a fuck."
Yeah.
I said, if I continue to listen to fucking professionals, you better be prepared to fucking put me in a hole.
Yeah.
Yeah. So I said, I either die on my terms, or I die at the or a professional that doesn't have a fucking clue what I'm going through. They might know what from a professional stance what they're telling you, but they don't know how I'm feeling.
Yeah.
You know, and that's what it did, dude. I stopped then.
Yeah.
I stopped then. And it was the best fucking thing I ever did. I shit you not, dude. I could take you for a tour around my house. I've got cupboards with beer in. I've got cupboards with spirits in, because I ain't gonna stop anyone that comes to my house at Christmas
Yeah.
having a drink because of me. I keep it there because I can open the cupboard and I can look at it and go, yeah, you
Yeah.
know, I can pour a can of lager for my wife, and the smell doesn't tempt me.
Yeah.
You
Yeah. Because
know,
you want it
uh,
for yourself.
and that's it. And I've said 12 months. In 12 months, this was actually my last therapy session. I said to him, I said, you know what? Another 12 months on the tablet, on my medication, and I'm off it.
Good stuff.
I'm off it. I said, I don't want to be on it. I said, I want nothing in my fucking body
Yeah.
that's drug related.
Yeah.
I said, I need to be fucking pure. I said, I'm happy. I said, I'm happy that fact that I'm off the beer. I'm sober.
Yeah.
I'm sober. I said, never in once in my fucking life. If someone told me years ago that I'd be sober, I'd be like, fuck off.
But here you are.
I like it too much. I like it too much. It makes me feel happy. No, no, it don't. It didn't.
No.
It suppressed
Yeah.
everything that I didn't know that was there. You
Yeah.
know, and I've got one last hurdle to get over in December, which is my retrial, and then then I'm home free, dude.
That's awesome.
Then I'm home free, and that's good. That tattoo is going on me back, home free.
That's awesome. David, before we go, what are you grateful for today?
Life,
Yeah.
life, life. And you know what I'm also gonna say? Faith,
Yeah.
faith. I'm Ragnar Lothbrok.
Yes, you are. Yes, you are. All right, brother. So before we get going, where can we find you?
You can find me at the anti-social network ones.com, on What's the Difference with the Wild Thing, Rob Wild, and the Cutting Room. It's open, people. It's coming back shortly. I've got a few things planned for it. Got a couple of interviews to work on. And there's going to be more shit coming. You know, like I said, like time things get put on the side so you can move through life.
Yeah.
But you know, I got a tattoo that's going on my leg of X-Men Juggernauts, because that's what I fucking am.
Yeah.
Not an X-Men. I wish it was, but no, I'm a Juggernaut.
Should get flame tattoos on your head. You'll be Bam Bam Bigelow. All right. All right. David, I want to take a moment and say thank you for sharing your story and sitting here and talking with me. It was an absolute honor and a pleasure, and I had so much fun.
Thank you.
All right. And everybody, thanks for hanging out with us. Thanks for listening to David's story. And I hope that something that David said inspires you. I know it inspired me. Thank you. Have a nice day, y'all. Be good. Bye.